You know what? I'm going to start by saying this. I am loving this matchup because I have literally flip-flopped on my pick three times this week.
Easily.
I almost feel like I'm filming The Bachelor right now.
It
you know what I mean?
like
I just don't know who to give the rose to.
I don't know
I
either.
don't know who to give this rose to. I'm in love with you both. We had a great time. We both had a great run. Yeah, sure, I kissed you on the Saturday, but then I was kissing the other one on the Sunday.
There was no commitment.
It's tough
It's a
for me.
kiss. You gotta kiss first.
But ladies and gentlemen, when it comes down to it, my final tally.
Yeah.
I have the Super Bowl rose.
Right.
And I'm giving it to the color of the flower.
What?
I'm going back on the Kansas City Chiefs. And I'm going to tell you, I am so conflicted.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I think Jalen Hurts is game time ready.
Okay.
I think he's real deal quarterback. I think the run game of Philadelphia is going to cause a lot of problems for the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that Philadelphia has been so underrated that throughout the year, even being the number one seed, it's a little bit comical. On the other side, I underestimated what I think is the difference maker. A Kansas City defense that is actually showing up week in and week out. To boot, if a guy like Mahomes on a, sure, whatever, your ankle's broken, whatever. But either way, playing possum or not, if a guy like Mahomes, Mitch, can do that against Cincinnati and still compete and be in the game, I like it. He's got 2 weeks off. The defense for KC's firing hot. Everything is going, but here's what it finally comes down to.
Okay.
The Elefantis boys are going over, and I just wish that Philadelphia wins because they're paying tickets to go see it.
Right.
But then my brother and sister-in-law are massive Chiefs fans.
What?
But Patrick Mahomes, there's just certain players that are destined to be in the mix. And I just am going back. I'm picking the Kansas City Chiefs to win the Super Bowl based on the fact that that little hairline fracture of what I call destiny, it's got to be Mahomes time. That's it.
Wow. Here I thought to myself, what happens if we both pick the same team? That means it's destined to be a guarantee of the guarantee.
A lock.
Ladies and gentlemen, I got to go against my boy. And it's been hard. I'm a lot like you. Flip-flop, back and forth. Because how do you go against the two-time MVP and Patrick Mahomes? It's hard. You can't do it. How do you go against Andy Reid, who knows both teams like the back of his hand? He's the greatest coach that I would say in this generation next to Belichick. They're very tight. I mean, back and forth. These guys know football. How do you go against the Kansas City that's been to the AFC Championship 5 straight years? Maybe not every year they've gone to the Super Bowl, but this team is poised. They're good. Well, I'm going to go with Philadelphia. Why? Because of two things. Number one, it's called defense. And number two, it's called the run game. Ladies and gentlemen, all you got to know about football, and when you go to that Super Bowl party and people ask you this question, just tell them one thing. Old school football will always beat new school football. Because when you can't push the ball in the air, when you can run it, it's much easier, it's much safer, and it's harder to stop. A good run game will always beat a better passing game. I know some people are going to argue with me, but ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'm telling you right now, take the Philadelphia Eagles, who are also favored in this game by 1.5 points. I like Philly. I like old school football. I know they have a great fan base. I know they're coming in hard. In fact, I saw a report the other day that people are remortgaging their house in the Philly area to get down to Phoenix to watch this game. I mean, that's passion right there. They're greasing the poles all night long over in Philly. They're not doing it for fun. They're greasing the poles so that the people don't kill themselves. Take Philadelphia in this one. You're going to look like a genius at the Super Bowl game. Dimitri, I'm sorry, buddy, but it's got to happen.
Again, I just don't know if you're even right. It's so close. 2 number 1 seeds, 2 14-3 teams, 2 disrespected teams. We've talked about it week in and week out where everyone was talking about everyone else but the best.
That's right.
Right, in the East and the West. It's phenomenal what's happening over here. So this is why you flip-flopped. This is why I've flip-flopped. But I'm just going with it just is the I got to tell you this,
sure.
the sensible pick, like the on-paper pick is Philadelphia.
Yeah.
The X-Factor pick, I think is Kansas City.
Agree.
And I'm
Listen,
just going with X-Factor.
Yeah. I hear
but
you. There's no reason not to.
But what I will say is for
me
Philly.
when it drop, then I'm mostly what they bopping. You can say what you got when it's Tuesday, I be locked in.
CJSW. We're Saved by the Bell by the Sports Show, playing every week. Podbean, Spotify, iTunes, Sports Show TV, at Sports Show Podcast. Amy, do it. At Sports Show Podcast.